The word hung in the marble-clad air of Glassview Bank, sharp as a teller's stamp. We don't serve beggars here. My sister, Veronica, in her immaculate silk blouse, delivered the line not to me, but to the hushed lobby, ensuring every client, every teller, every security guard heard it. I stood there, a withdrawal slip for $150 trembling in my hand, the modest sum I needed to help my elderly neighbor fix her heater in the dead of a Portland winter. Humiliation is a cold, specific heat. It crawled up my neck and pooled behind my eyes. I didn't fight. I didn't speak. I just nodded, turned, and walked out into the biting cold, the ghost of my 9-year-old self trailing behind me, the girl who'd once presented a hand-painted lighthouse at a family dinner, only to have it ignored as my father raised the glass to Veronica's new crystal vase. My name is Quinn Hale. I am the background noise of the Hale family symphony. My father, Robert, a corporate shark who measures worth in quarterly reports. My mother, Elaine, a curator of social appearances. My brother, Caleb, the golden boy who mirrors their ambitions. And Veronica, the star soloist, vice president of client relations at Glassview Bank. My older sister and my personal judge, jury, and executioner. I had learned to live in the quiet. I was a freelance data analyst, finding solace in the unambiguous truth of numbers. They didn't have favorite children. The only person who ever saw me was my grandfather, Arthur, gentle, kind Arthur, who smelled of library books and whispered, "Kindness is a quiet power, Quinn. Never mistake it for weakness." When he passed, he left me a small, lacquered wooden box with a note. "For the kindest one. Use it when they forget who you are." Inside was a single, old-fashioned key, a mystery I carried but never solved. That night, after the bank, the silence in my apartment was a physical weight. I made tea, let it go cold, and stared at the wooden box. Use it when they forget who you are. They had forgotten. They had always forgotten. A strange calm settled over me. Not anger, but resolve. I opened my laptop and logged into a portal few people knew existed. The screen glowed, revealing a dashboard. At the top, in clean, unassuming font, Shell Code 7 Holdings, total assets under management, $4.2 billion. I scrolled. A list of banks, funds, institutions. One name nestled among the others, Glassview Bank Corp., my sister's employer, the bank whose profits, whose bonuses, whose very stability were buoyed by the capital I, through my discreet algorithm-driven fund, provided. Veronica had humiliated me over a request for $150. She had no idea her career, her prestige, her entire world of glass walls and marble floors was built on an ocean of money I controlled. The key for my grandfather's box wasn't for a physical lock. It was a metaphor. It was permission. I picked up my phone. It was 3 a.m. "Mr. Linton," I said to the regional director of Glassview Bank, my voice devoid of the tremor it had held hours before. "We need an emergency meeting, first thing tomorrow. Shell Code 7 is withdrawing all assets." The next morning, I walked back into Glassview Bank. Same doors, different woman. I wore a simple navy dress, my posture straight, my expression unreadable. Mr. Linton was waiting, a sheen of sweat on his brow despite the winter chill. "Miss Dove," he stammered, using the alias under which Shell Code 7 operated. "This is unexpected. An honor." We moved through the lobby, heads turned. Yesterday's beggar was today's mystery VIP. Veronica saw me from her glass-walled office. Confusion, then irritation twisted her features. She strode out, ready to eject the nuisance. "Quinn, what are you—" Mr. Linton stepped between us, his voice low and frantic. "Veronica, this is Miss Dove of Shell Code 7. The color drained from her face. "Shell Code what? Quinn, what is this?" "It's a meeting," I said, my voice calm. "In your office, now." Inside the sanctum where she'd held court, I took the visitor's chair. She remained standing, arms crossed, a fortress beginning to crack. "Explain." Shell Code 7 is withdrawing all capital from Glassview, $4.2 billion, effective immediately. The air left the room. Mr. Linton made a small, choked sound. Veronica's laugh was brittle, disbelieving. You're joking. You can't possibly. Quinn, this isn't funny. It's not a joke. The withdrawal is due to a fundamental loss of confidence in this branch's management and ethical standards. I met her gaze. Specifically, yours. The pieces crashed together in her eyes. The alias, Dove, the staggering sum, the cold, calculated delivery. Me. Your shell code 7? Her whisper was a strangled thing. All this time, the money. Yesterday, you refused me $150, I said, my tone even. Today, you've lost your bank $4.2 billion. The math, as I'm sure you'll agree, is interesting. Mr. Linton found his voice, now icy with professional panic. Miss Hale, your employment is terminated immediately. Security will escort you out. As two uniformed men approached, the polished VP shattered. Quinn, please, you'll ruin me. Think of the family. I watched her be led away, sobbing, smearing her perfect makeup. The revenge wasn't sweet. It was quiet and final and just. The fallout was a symphony of hysterical phone calls. My parents, Caleb, aunts, uncles, a chorus of outrage about family loyalty and public humiliation. Not a single question about why, not a hint of concern for me. I sent one text to the family group, dinner, my place, Sunday, 7 p.m. They arrived at the address, a modern, elegant home in a coveted neighborhood they never knew I owned, with faces shifting from fury to covetous curiosity. My father eyed the architecture. My mother mentally appraised the art. Inside, at a simple oak table, the accusations began immediately. You've destroyed your sister's career, my father boomed. The scandal is all over the financial blogs. You've embarrassed us, my mother hissed. Caleb, the placater, spread his hands. Let's be reasonable. We're family. We can fix this. I let them talk. I let them exhaust their scripts of blame and entitlement. When they finally fell silent, expecting my contrition, I went to the sideboard and retrieved a slim leather folder. I placed it before my father. If we're talking about family, let's start with honesty. He opened it. His face, usually florid with anger, went ashen. Bank statements, invoices, transaction logs. What is this? He rasped. Evidence, I said softly, of the consulting fees you and Caleb have been siphoning from grandfather's trust for the past 2 years. The trust I, as the acting executor he quietly appointed, have been monitoring. My mother gasped. Caleb shot to his feet. Those were authorized for business development. Forged signatures in shell companies aren't business development, Caleb, I said. They're fraud. Grandfather built that trust to support all his grandchildren's futures. You turned it into a personal slush fund. The room was a tomb. The truth, in black and white, was a guillotine. I continued, my voice steady in the silence. You want me to fix the family's reputation? I am. By ending the fraud. By exposing the rot. This family isn't a bond. It's a business built on lies and image. And I'm dissolving my partnership. I walked to the front door and opened it. The winter night rushed in, clean and cold. Dinner is over. In the weeks that followed, the public unraveling was swift. Glassview's stock plummeted. An internal audit, triggered by the catastrophic withdrawal, uncovered not just Veronica's toxic management, but financial irregularities tied to Caleb's consulting. The headlines were brutal. The Hale family brand was ashes. The silence from my parents was absolute, and for the first time, it was a gift. One bright, cold afternoon, I found myself in the community garden behind the old library. The plot I'd anonymously funded years ago was thriving. A new plaque read, "The Arthur Hale and Patterson Community Garden." Mrs. Patterson, my elderly neighbor, was there, her laugh clear as a bell as she showed a child how to plant a marigold. She saw me and waved, her smile holding none of the calculation I'd known my whole life, only simple, warm gratitude. I knelt beside her in the rich soil, the earthy smell of balm. This was the real inheritance, not the billions, but the capacity to build something that grew, that healed, that warmed. My grandfather's key hadn't unlocked a door. It had unlocked me. It had given me permission to stop begging for crumbs of acceptance from a table where I was never meant to be a guest, and to instead build my own feast. Power isn't always a shout. Sometimes it's the quiet, irrevocable sound of a boundary being drawn. Sometimes it's the gentle rustle of new leaves in a garden you built with your own two hands, finally free.